It's Dark Souls 2 again, believe it or not. After, how long? Like a month, maybe? More?
Yeah.
Or more? Yeah, we just got, like, really busy with stuff. Like, you know, work, Gloomwood, family, the usual stuff. I think it's streaming. Let me make sure it's not accidentally streaming to the New Blood. No, there it goes. Okay. Because yesterday I streamed some Dusk 82 and then Oblivion with Dave on the New Blood Twitch, so I had to switch everything back over to this.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. So yeah, I have zero memory of what we are doing. I mean, I think I remember this room.
Yeah, we're in the crypt area.
Let's see, I'm sure, well, I remember the wall ghosts. I remember that was a thing. Poke. Someone said, "Are you a DS2 lover?" I mean, yeah, I feel like I can't decide until I've actually finished the game, but I like it enough that I've been playing it for, I don't know, it feels like my entire adult life at this point. Whoa! What was that? Wow. What was that, dude? It's just like a floating cloak.
Yeah, a floating cloak, man. After playing Oblivion, these skeletons are a bit more threatening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, going from the Oblivion remake to this is a bit of whiplash. I did install that difficulty mod for the Oblivion remake, which does feel a little bit more like I would expect that. For those of you who have not played the Oblivion remaster, the difficulty is really weird. The default difficulty feels, at least to start with, like trivially easy, and then the difficulty above that is like not quite impossible, but nearly impossible.
Yeah, someone looked into the values and it was like the jump between adept and expert is 3 times as much health for enemies, and you do 60% of the damage you do on adept.
Yeah, it goes from like
good lord.
Yeah, it goes from like you are 1 to 2 shotting enemies and they barely dent your health to like they are 1-shotting you and you barely dent their health. It like completely swaps it. Which I assume will get patched at some point, although I did hear just right before starting this stream, apparently they released a hotfix that now broke all upscaling. So
okay.
Yeah,
my frame rate was already super good in the open world
because they had frames to spare apparently.
Yeah.
Oblivion remake is awesome though. So far it literally is just oh, what was, did he come out of that thing?
Yes, he did.
Huh. Okay. Someone said, "How have you not finished Dark Souls 2 yet?" I don't know, because I'm slow and we only stream it like, excuse me. We only stream it for like, what, once a week at best, and it's a long game. I've seen so many Dark Souls 2 streams, it feels like this is run 100. Yeah.
I'm sure it feels like that to David too.
Yeah. For the last 2 streams, I actually just streamed some random like Godot game development stuff, because I, for some reason, got it into my head that I wanted to try making my own like terrain. Because Godot doesn't have like a built-in terrain system, so I was like, I'll try making one, and that's been an interesting experience.
I didn't even know. Yeah, I didn't even know Godot had a terrain editor.
It doesn't. That's what I mean. I'm making like my own system for it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that was interesting, or has been interesting. Last stream finally got to the point where it's like, okay, it's generating a terrain mesh and it's generating a terrain collision mesh. So that's exciting. It's actually somewhat functional now. But I don't even know what I'm gonna. Yeah.
Now you need those like Sims terraforming tools where you can like move ground up and down and stuff like that.
Yeah. Which actually shouldn't be too hard. There's the wall ghost. I say it shouldn't be too hard, but we'll see. The generating the mesh and the collision was the part I was kind of scared of, because I've never done real-time mesh generation. Well, I guess I have now because I did but like I'd never done that in anything before, so I wasn't even sure what the process was.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I think I have done a couple tutorials on generating meshes and land like that, and it was just yeah, same thing. It was really like, I have no idea how this works, and then in the end it's just kind of like, oh, you're just managing a lot of like vertices and points and stuff like that.
Right. At first, what I was doing is I was doing all the like the terrain offsets and stuff. Like I was doing all of that by shader.
Oh, yeah.
Which seemed like it would be a, you know, simple and performant solution to things, but then it got really complicated and messy to try and figure out how to get like a collision mesh generated off of the same data as like the shader had. It was very weird. So I ended up just switching over to... Wait, did he come back to life?
Sometimes they fall on the ground and then they get back up if they're not fully dead.
Okay. No, he's like...
Okay, no,
what?
That's a new one. That's a new guy. They keep spawning in this area.
Okay.
They're zombies.
Do they ever stop? This seems like a good place to farm. If I break the stone. Well, they don't give a ton of souls.
Yeah.
Just leave him alone. Maybe it has to do with this. Wonder if that was a bad idea. Do I recommend Godot or Unity? I am scared to recommend anything. I mean, I obviously have chosen to go with Godot instead of Unity now, but I haven't used it for long enough to be able to say, like, definitively what the, like, what all the pluses and minuses are. For all the stuff that I've been doing so far, it's been a very good tool. But it is also a much lower like scope tool. It's definitely made more for like 1 or 2 person development teams. So, and it's also, of course, still in development. So there's some stuff missing that, like I mentioned, they don't have a built-in terrain editor. They don't have a built-in solution for any level design. In fact, you do have like a popular plugin that you can use to import trench broom maps, which a lot of people use. And of course, the if you're doing like more of like a modular workflow, you don't really need a tool for level design. But yeah, but I really like Godot. I think Unity has better 3D functionality. I'm not sure. I guess it depends on what you're doing.
You are almost dead, sir.
I am definitely almost dead, yes. Height map editing tools are just paint programs in disguise. Yeah, basically. One thing that's cool, Dylan, is that they have a built-in, like, they have like their built-in Perlin noise generator, like, resource type. So you can just like, for a texture, you can just create a new, like, noise object, and then it has all these different parameters for, like, what type of noise and, you know, the amplitude and all of that stuff.
That's probably a lot of fun for making effects and stuff.
Yeah, it's really useful because then, you know, of course, you don't have to just you don't have to go into like a separate program or something just to get a noise like a noise texture. And I believe it works as a. This is a lot of stuff in my way. Oh jeez. And it works as like noise you can use in code, or it works just as like a texture too. The skeleton fuck pit.
So the reason why usually you like your level editor tools to be in the editor more than like importing, exporting, is one, the import-export process is its own sort of can of worms. Like if you're not only do you have the things of like, oh, you know, things didn't get brought over entirely correctly, which, you know, it really depends on the tool. Like Trench Broom is pretty good at that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's also its own time commitment. Like if you have to build some level bits, just kind of like what David was talking about, like having to go into like Photoshop or whatever to make a Perlin noise. It's its own, you know, importing, exporting is its own time commitment. Whereas like if you have the tools inside the editor, which by the way, Unity is not good at this either.
Yeah.
Like this is something that like was really good. Source is really good with this. Having the level editing tools inside the engine, where you can quickly put down some brushes and jump into the editor and play around with it, and then make changes as necessary.
Someone cloned Source 2. Oh man, the Source 2 tools look incredible.
Yeah, I almost feel like they're going to be. I sort of get the like Unreal Engine vibe, where it's like it's like having a Ferrari when all you really need is a car to go to work.
That's essentially why I am vibing more with Godot, because it's such a lightweight engine, to the point where I've had to double check that things were working correctly sometimes, or it's like my git commit for the day is a matter of like bytes or kilobytes, like not, you know, megabytes or whatever, or like the full built game is like 3 files. Like it's just really wild after working with Unity for so long. But that of course comes with its own downsides if you need more than just, I guess, what I need, which isn't a lot.
This is going to sound very funny coming from, you know, working on Gloomwood, but I also prefer, you know, being on the lighter weight side of things, because I feel like if you're, how do I put this? If you're building all these little systems yourself and you know exactly how they work, and there's not a lot of like stuff being automated for you, I feel less overwhelmed, and I feel like I have a better understanding of like how everything sort of connects, and there's no sort of surprises, I guess.
Yeah. Honestly, I think you would really like Godot, if whenever you're free to like check out other engines in the future. It feels much more like, because you know how Unity never felt, it always felt like the actual people it was designed for were, you know, somewhere else, and it's like we just happen to be using it, like, because, you know, it's the tool we have. This one, it's like, oh, this was designed for exactly the use case I'm using it for. It's for, like, small teams or single programmers making a game, and all of the, like, the functionality and user experience and documentation and all of that is, like, feels like it was made for the situation you're using it for. Which doesn't sound like, I mean, it doesn't sound like a big deal, but I don't know, at the very least, it's in a way sort of a peace of mind thing, because it's not going, you know, there, as of yet, I haven't run into a situation where it's like, oh, the solution for this is something that they've imagined you're going to have, like, an entire pipeline to do this.
Right.
Like, I can't come up with any specific examples right off the top of my head, but you know what I mean, where it's like that feeling of like, man, this really was not meant for one person to be driving this bus. Like,
no, and that's like, there are some people who really like, you know, like really like that Unreal handles, and Unity does this too, but like really likes that they get all the bells and whistles for the whole pipeline that otherwise a whole team would use. I think like a good example of this is probably just like how, you know, for Dusk and for Gloomwood, we had to basically rewrite a lot of the material shaders, because you basically just have to be like, hey, actually I don't want all this PBR, all this like crazy detail that would be used for a higher fidelity game. Can I please just have, you know, basic diffuse and, like, you know, a couple other options.
Someone asked,
where it's like,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, that's fine.
Well, someone asked, does Godot have everything that Unity does? Not necessarily, but you have to understand when it gets into talking about, like, oh, this engine today, now in the year 2025, when we're talking about, like, oh, this engine lacks features compared to this other engine or things like that, it's like we're still talking about a tool set that is going to be able to do, like, basically anything that basically any game that you would want to make within reason. It's like it has all of the most basic features that you would expect for being able to make a game, but there are things like let's see, like, for a while it didn't have what is that called? It didn't have, like, interpolated physics. So that was like they hadn't ported that over from Godot 3. So you could, I mean, did that stop you from, like, making something? No, not necessarily, but it was like it was a lot more limited compared with Unity. Or, like, my least favorite thing right now is their particle system, where it's not bad, it's just much more limited. Like, the sort of particle effects you can make, unless I'm just using it poorly, are not, like, it's not as easy to use and, like, versatile as what Unity had, but it's still, like, there's a particle system there, and you can make all the basic stuff you'd want to do with a particle system. They just might not look quite as, you might not be able to do exactly what you want the same as, like, I don't know if this makes any sense, but it's like the level that engines are at now is, like, it's so completely sufficient for making games as, like, as, you know, a one person or a small team.
It's funny that you said that, because I feel like Unity system Shuriken was probably one of the last major systems that they added, where it felt like they added something fully complete and was, like, dramatically better, and was like, oh my god, this is, you know, Unity's making really good progress, before going down that pipe of, we're gonna half-ass these features just to look good on like a spreadsheet.
Yep. And I mean, that stands out because it's one of the only things that I would not say is actually better in Godot that I've run across.
Yeah.
Like, again, for my use cases, like, that's why the particle system stands out. Whoa, what the heck happened there? The Penumbra engine has the most horrifying approach to level authoring, which is doing absolutely everything in a 3ds Max file and a script. Jeez.
Yep, that's cursed.
Will you buy me the ED gel that just got advertised? It's advertising ED gel stream.
Oh no!
Oh jeez.
That's not good.
Erectile dysfunction vice grips.
It knows the gamer audience.
Yeah. This room is
Hell.
hell, by the way.
You're gonna need to put that ring of binding back on.
Yeah, you're right. Are there any Godot add-ons or plugins you consider a must-have? Less now. Well, in 4.4, one of the big nice added things is that they integrated jolt physics, which previous to this was something you had to add in. I mean, it wasn't hard to add it in yourself. But the built-in like Godot physics system was unfinished and didn't work very well. But now Jolt is just part of Godot, so you don't need that. I'd say for the like traditional level design, for like boom shoot level design or things like that, you'd probably want to have what is it called now? Funk Godot, the plugin that lets you import trench broom maps. Oh my gosh, they can okay, they gotta put the ring of binding back on first of all. And what was they don't have any built-in terrain. So there is a popular, user plugin for terrain, and I think that's about I don't think at this point I'm using any plugins. So I'm sure there's some others that are popular, but I'm not really using any. The only one I was using was was Jolt, and now that's in the engine, and then the project I'm working on right now, it's a 2D, like a top-down or a isometric game, so I don't need a level editor for that. I'm just doing my own little grid-based level editor. Holy crap! Thank you, Andrew, for the gifting subs.
Yeah.
Is the Quake map format used beyond Quake modding? Well, there's several no, I think actually the Godot games use more like the gold source format. I think. I'm not sure though. You have an erectile dysfunction, Drew.
Least cacophonous DS2 area.
Yeah.
This is gonna come as no surprise. I'm pretty sure I brought this up last stream, but after working on something like Gloom for so long, I'm so infinitely jealous that you post the like, oh, I'm working on this like top-down game. It's like really different, and I get to try out some new things. And I'm like, man, after Gloom, I am so ready to just like fuck around and make some games I've never tried before.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, because you were probably in the same spot after Dusk and stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly... Okay, I need... Put Ring of Binding on. That's what I need to remember to do. Honestly, after like, the run of Pony Factory and Squirrel Stapler and Butcher's Creek, I was pretty ready to, do anything that was not that. Because... I forget if I talked about this before, but basically I, left off creatively at Chop Goblins back in 2022, at the end of 2022. And 23 and 24 were just working on like the standalone releases and updates and stuff like that. So it's only like at the beginning of this year that I've been able to get back to creating new stuff, which is kind of picking up where Chop Goblins left off in a way. But because Squirrel Stapler and Pony Factory were of course just standalone updates of existing games, and Butcher's Creek was something that that was something that I made and like designed, I mean, more back in like 2020, like 2019, 2020. Maybe getting into like 2021, but you know, like most of the creative work was already done there. And I'm going to put on that ring. Should I get rid of? Maybe Ring of Thorns? What is this again? Oh, that's retaliatory damage. No, we're going to put on Ring of Binding instead of that. There it is. That's part of what that's one of what the problems were with Butcher's Creek, is that I had to like finish up something that wasn't really where the headspace I was in anymore. So it was difficult to like fill in the holes that still needed filled in, and keep the game feeling like it was a consistent vision, if that makes any sense.
When you release a game as an indie dev, you don't release it when it's done. You release it when you physically cannot look at it anymore.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, these
it's good enough. Get it away from me.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. Feet. Add feet. Oh, there's a new record. It says new record level 2 in the Twitch chat. I don't know what that means. Actually, going after this ghost is probably a bad idea, because I feel like every time I've done that, I've died. If I let them mess around in there enough, maybe they'll break some of the stones for me. So one of the things that I've done since we last played Dark Souls 2 is that Rachel and I have watched The Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones now for the first time, and for me, I think it's been like several decades for Attack of the Clones at least. That's been an interesting experience, because I came out of the so I came out of The Phantom Menace being like, actually that held up a little better than I remembered. Like, it's a mess, but there was like stuff that I was like, oh, I can appreciate where they were going with this, like what they were trying to do. And then Attack of the Clones was so much worse than I'd remembered.
Dude, Attack of the Clones is terrible.
It's so bad, and like the last 20 minutes are fun when it's just battle after battle after battle. Like that's fun, but geez, the journey there is pain. It's like the dialogue is so much worse than I'd remembered, and I had remembered it being not good.
Yeah, it's so funny. Now that we have like the new trilogies, people forget
yeah,
how kind of dire it was then.
Yeah, it's wow. It's because I went into going onto Attack of the Clones in like a positive headspace. You know, it's kind of like, oh, okay, now let's, you know, Phantom Menace like had its issues, but it was, you know, it had some stuff. Ooh, wow.
Oh.
And it was just, we actually stopped halfway through and had to take a break and then come back to it several days later, because it was just like, this is terrible.
Yeah,
and then Yeah.
Not quite as fun as like a Lord of the Rings rewatch.
Oh man, the fact when you remember the fact that also that these were coming out like alongside the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which is one of the best things ever filmed. It's like, oh. And so I've never seen Revenge of the Sith. So I've heard
really?
Yeah, I never saw that. I think by that time I'd sort of not grown out of them, but like I wasn't as interested in Star Wars by the time that came out.
Fair enough.
And yeah, I've heard people say that's the best out of the three, out of the prequel trilogy.
Certainly better than Attack of the Clones, I'll tell you that.
Man, the problem is I'd remembered Attack of the Clones being like really entertaining, and the reason was because all I remembered of it was like the Colosseum fight and the climactic battles. Like that's all I'd remembered about the movie, and so I was like, oh yeah, I remember that being like a fun time. And I'd forgotten that most of the movie is just a really bad romance subplot.
Yep.
And Qui-Gon, and I mean, I guess there's a couple of action like set pieces in there, but yeah. Okay, there's that. It was so mean of them to put all these rocks here. Like,
Classic.
It's very classic. It's relatable if you hate sand. That is true. And then, but also, I was so distracted in the final 20 minutes because I could not, for the life of me, figure out what anyone's plan was. Like, so both sides of the battle that's occurring are owned by the same person. And there was no like comprehensible reason to me why the fight is happening. Because it's like robots owned by the evil guy, and then also clone army owned by the evil guy, and they're fighting each other. And I don't understand. Is that something that is clarified later on? That will make sense later, or is that just a George Lucas moment?
I think Star Wars is a great example of how infinite wealth doesn't necessarily make your art better.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. These guys just keep respawning. I did get rid of that thing. So maybe if I just go in here. I mean, it looks like terrible things are going to happen in here. Yeah, okay. Invasion. I can at least pick this up. All ghost. Oh, there he is.
Every room in Dark Souls looks like terrible things are going to happen in here.
Yep.
Oh, daggers.
Yeah. I was trying to get the parry. I don't know why, but you know me and parries. Once you start,
That's what Oblivion's missing. Parries.
Yeah. Parries and a thickness slider. Bust size slider. Don't worry, modders will do their thing.
Yeah. I saw a great tweet yesterday where it was like, oh, Oblivion remastered devs, please release the modding tools, and they're like, oh, for, you know, expanding on the level and content, and just slowly the ass of the flame Atronach is like starting to fade in.
Yeah, that you go on Nexus mods, like, oh, I wonder what the most popular mods are for Oblivion or Fallout 3, and it's like, oh, boobs. Okay.
Yeah, I don't do that to my games. but I find it infinitely funny that people do.
It is.
And I would never take that away from them.
Yeah. The thing is, it's always like, it's the weird, like, mannequin body, like nude mods. Like, they're kind of unsettling. Alright, let's do this invasion again. Here we go. So they came from this way, right?
You know, Big Bonk might actually be good against this person if
Yeah,
this doesn't
actually,
work out.
that's a good point. That was trying the parry again. I should probably stop trying the parry. I'm going to go for Big Bonk. Yeah, but the Oblivion remake is really good, by the way. For those who haven't, and it's very bizarre in the best way, because you're essentially playing the same exact game. It just looks like a AAA game from 2025. It's actually very pretty, like maybe one of the better looking Unreal Engine 5 games. And then it plays like a Bethesda game from 2006. Is this the correct one? Yeah, this is the correct club. So if you hear that and you're like, oh, that sounds amazing, then you are going to love the remake. And I kind of didn't realize how much better all of the hilarious Oblivion jank is when it's fully out, like it's like fully out of the uncanny valley, and it's like you're seeing photorealistic graphics, and then all of the NPCs are doing Oblivion, you know, movement. It's really, it just ups the absurdism.
I was watching Ali play some, and this happens like anytime you enter like the market district of the Imperial City, and just all the characters are all talking at the exact same time.
Yeah, you enter and it's like I don't think I clipped this, but one part where I lost it is they're like having, like, it's two NPCs having a conversation, and the one goes like, you know, oh, did you hear so and so did the so and so thing, and then the other one just starts like like coughing up their lungs. It's just so ridiculous.
They're like, the dynamic narrative system is so funny.
It's so good. And I feel like that was actually like there's a lot of this stuff that I feel like was lost on 2006 audiences, because I remember that, like, this stuff being criticized, people being like, yeah, it really takes away from the experience. And now it's like, this is what makes Oblivion so much fun, is how stupid and weird and jank, like, the NPCs act. And the emergent, like, it's like emergent YouTube poops happening around you at all times.
It's a lovely day today. No.
Yeah. No. Or be like, hello. How are you? Oh, I'm doing fine. Like, it's just ridiculous. Oh, someone said it's like an interactive fantasy Naked Gun movie. Oh, I timed it poorly.
Need to get that pancake off. If you can pancake them, then you'll win.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the pancake. Yeah, I had it. So I almost think that bug with the goblins, I almost think that happened to me in the Kvatch quest, because when you storm the courtyard of the castle, I swear there was like 17 goblins in there, all just grouped up at the gate. And so once the gate opened, it was like literally, not an exaggeration, like 17 of them. And then the all of your guys just mashing together in that narrow hallway. I don't remember that many goblins being there in
That
the
sounds
original
like a
game.
bug. An amazing bug.
Yeah, I almost think it was, and I thought it was amazing. Yeah, I hope they don't fix it. It's like the one dialogue line where you can hear what's her name?
Like, let me do that one again.
Yeah. She's like, to me, she's like the quintessential Oblivion voice actress.
My favorite comment of on that video is that was a good idea. That second take definitely was better.
Yeah. if that gets like patched out, like they had to have intentionally left that in, right? They even lip synced it and everything. It's so fun. It gets even funnier if you imagine that the character is actually saying that and they just didn't feel like they communicated their emotions enough to you the first time.
Incredible headcanon.
Yeah.
See, no, Mad Men Epic, I think the Goblin War system has crawled its way back up, and that's why it's spawning 100 goblins.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Is it? There's like goblin factions, and you can like influence. Is that how that works? You can like actually influence the results of by like taking out one of the sides or something like that. I don't remember exactly how it works.
It's wild. Like I think they probably made that for just like 1 or 2 quests.
Dang it!
Oh no!
Almost.
Like they were going to have like a goblin like faction war subplot line for a quest, and then they were like, "There's no way we can justify doing this."
Something that's weird to me about like classic Bethesda games is how they're like immersive sim adjacent games that are actually more complex under the hood than you think, which I feel like is usually the opposite of classic immersive sims, where usually there's a layer of what would you like shoot.
Like
there's a layer of like video game magic that helps prop up the actual systems, where it's like there's an element of it feeling more complex and alive than it really is. And I feel like classic Bethesda games are the exact opposite, where there's actually more systems under the hood than you think, because they're just really bad at showing them off. Like an entire goblin warfare system.
I was looking up on the vampirism like page, and I read that like, oh, if it's a cloudy day, you will actually take less sun damage.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's an insane thing to account for.
Yeah.
In a game like Oblivion.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is just like the expectation.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right, because there's an element of like kind of simplicity to like the difficulty usually isn't that high in the games. They're usually kind of, I guess you'd say, sort of mainstream friendly in a way, unless it's Morrowind.
Yeah.
But then there are these weird actual like proper systems going on under the hood. So, and then sometimes there aren't. There we go. Like the stealth, the stealth and detection is maybe not as systemic as it could be when when guards just phase through the walls to come arrest you when you've committed a crime.
I like on my like Fifi character, I headshot someone in the middle of the conversation, and the person that they were talking to didn't realize it. So they just fell over completely fucking dead, and the guy was still just talking.
It's amazing. Oh, that is so close to one-shotting them.
Oh, yeah, they have like 1 health left.
Yeah. Maybe I'll just avoid them. Oh, these are enemies, aren't they? These are those door enemies. Yep. Ooh, that did not pancake them. It did do good damage, though. There we go.
Nice.
If an Oblivion video is less than a minute long, you know it's gonna be good. Yep. Oh, I can't even think about the farewell video without like bursting into laughter in awkward moments.
Anytime like a wood elf says farewell like that, I crack up. It's like not even in the context, just hearing that line.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Farewell. It's also the fact that there's this horrifying, like, crunching, squishing noise. Guess we're just falling down. Wait a second. This is back to where I was, isn't it? Or maybe not. Maybe not? This sure looks like where I was. No, it's another place.
This is our 42nd stone room.
Yeah. Oh no! Ah! There's 4 of them. Okay. There's one there too. Oh geez. Oh geez.
This is bad.
Yep. How did I escape that?
That was a true.
What?
Oh, this is Dark Souls 2 gang.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Oh, I was so close to surviving that. Like, shockingly close.
Yeah.
Snow. We need more snow. Indeed. Yeah, it's so funny. All the NPCs. And the I think part of what makes it so magical is, like, all of that, like, overlapping dialogue and, like, the emergent, you know, the NPCs trying to have, like, emergent conversations and stuff. It also does genuinely help the world feel like it's alive and lived in, at the same time as it being hilarious and janky.
And that stuff would go on to influence, like, Dishonored has a very similar system with their guards. Like, they're...
Oh, does it?
You'll listen... Yeah, like, you'll listen to them and be like, hey, do you want to get together for, you know, cigars tonight? And you'll just hear the guards be like, yep. And yeah, like, it's a more basic, and they've, like, cut away anything that sounds kind of awkward, but, like, Oblivion was kind of the root of that.
Yeah, well, actually, I just remembered that Half-Life did that also, believe it or not.
Oh, man.
Like, if you got a scientist and a security guard following you, and you just, like, sit in a room for a while, they'll have... It's really rudimentary, but it's the same sort of idea where they'll be like, oh, did you know, what, something died down here, and then the scientist is like, yes. Like,
yep. Yeah, so yeah, the roots of that, all that kind of stuff is that pretty darn old. Yeah.
I don't know what it is about Elder Scrolls and Oblivion in particular, where it's like, I don't know if it's the setting or what, but it's like earnest and serious enough to make all of that stuff funnier when it happens.
Yeah.
I think because it's sort of cheesy high fantasy, then having you know, ridiculousness happen, it just like feels funnier in that context. Do you know who ate all the donuts?
And this is like, I'm trying to remember, because we were much younger when the original Oblivion came out. But I feel like the conversation around games has changed a lot since it came out. Where, you know, when Oblivion came out, it was it was very funny that all that kind of stuff happened, but that zeitgeist of like, oh, Bethesda makes jank games hadn't quite solidified yet.
It hadn't gotten
And
sort of an identity of its own like it does now.
yeah, but that's both to its benefit and its detriment. Like, people now have that expectation of like, oh, Oblivion's really jank, but it's also really funny. But there's also a lot of outrage of like, oh, Starfield came out and it was janky, and like everyone's mad at Bethesda. Yeah, like just the culture around their games has changed a lot since Oblivion originally dropped.
Yeah, I feel like people were not, like 20 years ago, were not as open to the idea of like video game jank being absurdist comedy rather than just bad. Because I feel like 20 years ago that stuff was like, no one, well, people playing the game probably found it, but it's like the video game culture was not about, oh yeah, this stuff is funny and charming. It was like, it breaks immersion, it's bad and lazy. Oh, okay, down into the hole.
Would you say it's interesting though, because I feel like that's definitely true of like when Oblivion came out, but I feel like people are more hostile about that towards Bethesda now, both more hostile and less tolerant of that for something like Starfield coming out. Like when their modern games are kind of jank, or Fallout 76, it's like people are pissed about it rather than it being kind of like endearing like Oblivion is now.
Yeah, that's true. Was Earth Defense Force around back then? Well, it wasn't around in the US, at least. I don't remember when Monster Attack or is that World Defense Force or Universal, whatever, the really early ones. I don't remember when those came out. But also I'll point out when EDF, what is that, EDF 2017, even when that came out, and that was the first one in the US, like there was like this people felt like they had to explain and justify why it was fun, rather than people understanding the idea of like not so bad it's good fun, but like that sort of like cheesy budget game, crazy sort of absurdist jank thing. Like that, like now I feel like it's really easy to sell someone on EDF, but back when like 2017 came out, it was or same with Deadly Premonition when that came out. It was like, now it's kind of easy to explain, but back then it was like the idea of bad, crazy game that is actually good was not as popular. Part of the problem is, so I think that a lot of the people who attribute all of the problems in Bethesda games to Gamebryo are talking out their ass, honestly.
I agree.
I think that comes from the exact same school of thought of people who think that every UE5 game is going to have bad performance, or every Unity, back in the day, every Unity game is gonna be like, gonna look terrible.
Yeah, I'm personally not convinced that if Bethesda swapped over to like, oh, we're gonna use Unreal 5 for our next major game, it still wouldn't be a jank, fucked up, ridden mess.
Like there's definitely certain things that engines do better or worse than other engines, and certain things that like tend to characterize projects on the same engine, but engines are just tools. And like a lot of the time people will ascribe things to engines that is just like, that doesn't have to do with the engine at all. It just has to do with, whatever else.
Yeah, I think there's probably a larger more uncomfortable conversation around this, where the reality, and I'm not saying this to defend Bethesda, because
No, they've got problems for sure.
they've got problems, and Starfield was, had lots of problems, and most of their modern games have lots of problems.
Starfield had a lot of problems, which is why it didn't, like, there's a reason that didn't click for people like the more classic games. But anyway.
But I think that the way that those games are made, so like the Bethesda kind of RPGs are very much like, they try to give you as much freedom as possible. It's different than like, I guess like it's different than like GTA or like Red Dead, where they're trying to go for a very specific fantasy. Bethesda games are very much like, we try to make everything permissible, to the point where the games essentially fucking break down. So I think there's a wider sort of uncomfortableness where, if you're going with this philosophy and you're making modern games that require tons and tons of things that can potentially go wrong with like every system and every graphical option and all that kind of stuff, the outcome is going to be that it's kind of a mess. That's sort of the thing that you encounter as a developer. Everything's a fight between fidelity, scope, ambition, and like limitations. And the games that they make are just like inherently not. They're inherently extremely hard to do. And you can see this. It's not just a Bethesda thing. Because like you saw that with Cyberpunk too. Like CD Projekt Red, which are known for making really polished kind of RPGs like The Witcher, found themselves in that bucket with Cyberpunk, and trying to give that ultimate freedom and finding out how monstrous that task is going to be.
Yeah,
and I think that like that's one of the hard things that modern Bethesda is kind of having to adapt to, is the notion that the games that they make and this pace that like everything is changing graphically is kind of not suitable for each other anymore.
Yeah, and also, I agree. And also, like, it's worth like differentiating between scope and scale, if that makes sense. Because there are a lot of games that are basically the same size as, Oblivion or Skyrim or whatever now. But the thing is, they're trying to make like what are essentially like the Bethesda style of RPG is essentially an immersive sim that they're just trying to make the size of a open world game. Which, and the other thing is that the other thing that I think is sort of a struggle that they've had over the last decade or more is that now just having a game that's big is not that notable. Like back in 2006, having an RPG that it was like the size of Oblivion was notable in and of itself. Like just having something that is that big, that's already like going to add this sense of gravitas and scale and immersion to something, just because it wasn't seen as often. And now it's like every game is that size. It's no longer unique. Like that's no longer something that Bethesda has sort of a unique foothold on. And I think with Starfield, they didn't quite recognize that just going for a game that was really big was not going to be enough. They had to also figure out what are the other things that make people like our games specifically. Like, the you know, the exploration, the sense of like the world not just being large, but also being like something where you could go and find little stories and little like evidences of the world being lived in any random corner. That's sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. Finish your thought.
That's like, because I've said I like Starfield. I actually like Starfield a lot more than I think the average, but there are like giant gaping holes in that game. It does not, like, it feels way more empty than it should, and I think part of that is because a big part of the life given to the Bethesda formula is getting that sense of like handcrafted intimate detail that in these places that you know, in just like a random tomb you find like a little story that happened. That's what makes it feel not just big but also like dense, even when there's repeated dungeon assets, there's, you know, copy and paste this and that. Having those moments of like bespoke sort of identity and narration happening is what keeps it feeling kind of magical, if that makes sense.
So Freaky Eel said, I don't want freedom, I want gun feel good. And I think this is a fascinating topic as a game dev, because this is why you have to be kind of careful about listening to the feedback that your games get. Because I would say that Fallout 4, the games from Fallout 4 onward, and especially Starfield, Bethesda has dramatically improved the gun feel in their games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would say that like their Starfield has probably their best feeling guns that they've ever made, and it kind of doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of doesn't serve them at all, really.
Yeah,
because they did all this stuff, like, you know, Fallout 4. They dramatically improved the gunplay from Fallout 3.
Dramatically, like, yeah, it was a shock at the time.
But people don't really fondly remember Fallout 4. I like people, you know, are like, oh, you know, the gunplay is like, yeah, like it's better, but I think there's that realization that they're kind of not here for the gunplay.
Yeah. Trying to remember where the bonfire is.
There was one.
Is it this? There it is. Okay. Because I got a shortcut, so.
Right. But it's. I imagine for years and years that's definitely been the feedback I've heard people say, like, oh, you know, I want to get into, like, you know, Fallout or you know, Bethesda's games, but man, the guns just feel terrible. And when they did put sizable effort to improve that, it came out in some of their weakest games.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of, like, I'm not saying that, like, oh, you know, it's because of the gunplay that those games, like, suck, but it's an interesting thing about how, like, the change in focus kind of, maybe the expectations are different, maybe adding that element kind of changed them from being this kind of like forward-facing, these are RPGs, into more like, I don't know, now they're kind of stepping in on like first-person shooter territory, and they're just like not quite
looter shooters. And
yeah.
There's, I mean, it's kind of the character building idea where if you're playing as a class that is an archer and has like high agility, low defense or whatever, you instead, you wouldn't put all your points into upping the already bad defense. You would want to up the things your character's already good at, right? And so, like, Bethesda has never had good moment-to-moment kinesthetic gameplay. They've at best had it be, like, fine. I think Fallout 4 and Starfield, the gunplay feels fine. Maybe like fine plus. You know, you're not going to play it just for that gameplay, but it's good enough that you don't really notice. And I think that's about the level to aspire to in that area, because it's not an area where it's like, this is what they do super well. I'm going the wrong way. They'd want to focus in on like the areas where they do super well, which they didn't focus on with Starfield. And Fallout 4, they neutered the roleplay aspects to accommodate the better gunplay. Yeah, I guess. Fallout's a weird topic of discussion because it arguably hasn't been a good RPG for much longer than it was a good RPG. Like at this point, honestly, it has a greater legacy as a like Bethesda style game than it ever did as a CRPG.
Should you spend your souls?
I don't think I have. Whoops, is that the? Oh no, I do have enough to level up. I misread. So yeah, I'll go spend my souls. Was it this way? Yes, I think. Yeah, here we go. Nope, wrong way. I think. That way is to the boss.
The shortcut is
it up the stairs?
Go here. Yeah, go up these stairs.
Okay. Yeah, oh, okay, I see. Again, I cannot. Considering I wasn't even considering 1 or 2, you'd agree. Yeah. Yeah, no one remembers 1 or 2 anymore. It's sad. I love especially Fallout 1. Like the atmosphere in Fallout 1. I need to be on there to travel. Is so good. All right, level up.
Yeah, I think the funny thing that's kind of the big problem with Starfield for me is that Bethesda have gotten themselves into this loop of like, oh, you know, when you play their games, you explore, you find a location, like a dungeon, you do the dungeon, you get all the stuff, you go back to town, you sell it, and you rinse and repeat.
Mm-hmm.
And Starfield kind of has that, but you have to go through a lot of loops to get to it, kind of.
Yeah, and you can't go off in a random direction on a planet and find interesting stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, you have both that element of like, oh, you know, I've seen this procedural cave too many times already. And then you're also going through all these like loading screens just to get back into the action, and it just doesn't the flow just doesn't feel good there anymore.
Yeah, is this the one? Yeah, I think this is the right one. Yeah, and I will the thing that hurts a little bit about Starfield is that I will defend the atmosphere, like the vibe and look and atmosphere of that game a lot, because I think it's really good in terms of like the aesthetic and the you know, all of that stuff. And then they just don't nail the giving you like a solid foundation of cool stuff to actually see and find in the world. It's like the visually and everything, the world they created is really cool, as it always is. But then it doesn't feel as lived in or as immersive as you really want. Wrong way again.
Yeah, take a right.
Yeah.
When
here.
In this, yeah, go turn right.
Oh, sorry, that's left.
Yeah, that doorway. Not here. That one with the 2 torches.
Yeah, I am so bad at navigating. I don't know why. Yeah, I'm also hoping like the Oblivion remaster is enough to kind of get some opinions across to the people in charge, I guess. Like not just that remasters are going to do well. Although honestly, I wouldn't say no to a Morrowind remaster done in the same way, or a Fallout 3 for that matter. Oh boy.
Oh, you're getting canceled on Twitter just as you said that.
Uh-oh. What? Wait, why? What did I say that was wrong? Is it the because I liked Fallout 3?
No, there's so many people who are hostile to a Morrowind remaster.
Oh, how come though?
Because they think that there's both people who are like that with Oblivion, but Morrowind has its own sort of group of people who are like, it's sacrilege to do that.
I mean, I could see that, but like, I mean, what I'm imagining is that it would be Morrowind under the hood, and it just looks like a Unreal 5 game, and how amazing that would be to have like Morrowind physics and character, you know, AI and everything. But I don't know. But yeah, and that aside though, like just sending out the idea that like, hey, people really like what you did in this game, maybe, you know, do that same thing in newer subsequent games. Like, imagine if the Elder Scrolls 6 is basically, it's, you know, if it plays more like Morrowind or Oblivion than Starfield. Like, that'd be great.
Right. Yeah, I'm curious if any of this is going to change anything in Elder Scrolls 6, or if it's just too locked in at this point.
Yeah. Uh-oh. I don't know what's gonna happen here, but I'm just gonna get in as much damage as I can. Oh, he's healing, isn't he? Oh! Okay. Let's see how Morrowind Remaster would invite more possible changes. Yeah, that's true. The combat would have to be... I mean, there's no way they'd keep the same combat. He has a bigger bonk. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna run to the bathroom.
I think someone brought this up before, but like Kingdom Come Deliverance is a very interesting sort of take on doing the kind of Oblivion thing, but limiting the players, maybe not the quite right terminology here, but limiting the players' kind of ability to do things by like limiting it down to like, okay, we're just going to allow, you know, medieval combat and not like the whole fantasy thing, and really honing in the combat, but still trying to make everything else that high freedom kind of, you can do whatever you want style of gameplay. Which I have been playing through KCD 1 before my friggin' motherboard died, and really enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to getting to KCD 2 eventually. Yeah, KCD 1 still looks really good.
All right, I'm back. I was thinking about, I think also with the whole remake thing, I think I always come at it from a bit of a different place than some people do, because I feel really positively about remakes, and I think, oh hey, someone else in the jester costume. Which I know I get the complaints about them because I guess in some ways they are, like, the idea of remaking something is kind of a lazy cash grab. But as if the remake is done well, I kind of see that as like, that's like a positive thing for us also, because in a way it's a form of preservation. Like, it's not preserving the original necessarily, but I've always considered like keeping the thing alive in people's minds and relevant in the yeah, here we go. And like relevant in the current industry is also part of like preserving a title. I don't know. So I always feel fairly positive about remakes, even like I guess I'd say it's an instance where the publisher doing a cash grab is kind of also like what's good for like us. Like, it's kind of like it like works out well for both sides. But I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong about that, but I guess I've just never felt really that that negative toward remakes if they're good and tasteful, which I mean, there've been a lot of really good like remakes and remasters over the last few years. This is gonna be like an insta death, isn't it? Yep, insta death.
I have two kind of things about that. One is that I'm okay with a remaster or remake as long as the original remains available online. Like,
yeah, that's a very important caveat. I feel exactly the same. If it's replacing the original and making it unavailable, that completely changes it.
Yeah, it has to definitely, like, they can't, delist like the original Oblivion. That would be a big fucking no for me.
No, absolutely, yeah.
And the other thing, I've seen the argument be like, oh, just work on a new game, and it's like, yeah, I mean, they already are. They're already making Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah.
But like, we also just got Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and I was just talking about that a little bit, which is kind of like, that studio's like, hey, we're gonna make our own version of Oblivion. And it's sort of like, it's like fine that the Oblivion remake exists. It hasn't like taken away from new games coming into the fold or anything like that. I do kind of feel like there's a bit of hostility around remakes in that way.
And I guess some of the remasters are kind of ridiculous. Like, we don't need Last of Us 2 remastered. That's dumb.
God, Last of Us remaster.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Warcraft 3 fucking remake was tragic.
Oh, that's right. That was...
Which sucks because the StarCraft 2 one was really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
And the Diablo 2 one.
Yeah, that's also quite good, right? I haven't played it. I would like it to be on Steam at some point, not have to buy it from Blizzard if I don't have to. I mean, that is still buying it from Blizzard. I don't know anymore. At the time when that came out, I was like, I'm not giving Blizzard money. At this point, I don't know. It's so hard to figure out anymore where who you should even give any money to. Like, if you're trying to only give money to the good companies, it's like, who is that anymore?
Everyone sucks.
Yeah, kinda. Looking forward to the Last of Us remastered. Yeah.
Dude, they already remastered the remaster. It's like, they're on their like 5th remaster for Last of Us 1.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
I thought it was
already.
Oh
no,
my gosh.
Okay, like, hold on. God, I have to pull up this friggin' list. How many times have they remastered this friggin' game? And it's like, the original game doesn't look bad either, like...
Right. I thought it was just, oh, jeez. I thought it was just the, I should have taken that opportunity to heal. The Last of Us 1 remaster, and then also The Last of Us 2 remaster, even though that game came out, like, just a few years ago.
No, they did, like a remaster, and then they did, like, a remake remaster.
Wow. Okay. That's one of those games that I'm sure is very good, but the discourse and community surrounding it have ensured I will not play that maybe ever. Like, the idea of stepping into anything involved with The Last of Us is just so exhausting to think about to me. Like, I have no interest in being part of that.
So the original released in 2013, and then they did remastered in 2014. The Last of Us remastered. And then they did the remake of The Last of Us Part 1 in 2022.
There was a I thought it was just a remaster. Holy crap.
Yeah, they're already on Part 2 remastered as well.
Wow.
Cursed.
Yeah, the Part 2 remastered I know about. I guess Neil What's-His-Face really wants people to know that torture porn violence is bad, but also good. Yeah, it always sucks when a game's fan base or reputation kills your interest in it. Yeah, and honestly, it's not even necessarily like reputation or fan base. At this point, it's just like anything with discourse is so tiring. It's so exhausting now. Like, it's ruined games for me in the past. Not even necessarily the specific, controversies or whatever, but just the fact that it's like, oh my gosh, there's so much argument happening about this right now. Like, you can't just enjoy the thing, you have to pick a side.
It's everything now. It's like even with like the God.
Oh, Dark Souls 2.
Yeah, even with like the Oblivion remaster, it's like, oh my god, they've changed to the fucking like the gender selector or whatever.
Oh
and
Lord, it's so stupid.
God, I'm so tired of it. Just please don't either play it or don't play it. I don't care.
Yeah. Or like Stalker 2, then all of the discourse was about dumbed down a life.
Oh yeah.
Like, great, I can't enjoy that now.
The romance and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and it's like impossible to keep up with.
It is, and it's like every game now has discourse around it. Like no one is. You can't just have fun with the game. You have to like decide which side you're on. Finished Butcher's Creek today and saw Hakita in the credits. Did he help with development? I mean, he and about several other of the New Blood crew gave early like feedback on it, including Dylan. I think, right? You were one of the people that did that did pre-release feedback, weren't you?
Yeah, you watched me play through the game.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Did I get him? I did not get him.
Yeah, but that's the thing, Luhu, like, it's insane that people care about it, and it's also insane that people care that there's a mod that removes it. Like, I can't be fucked. I spend like 2 seconds at that screen.
Right. The Steam forums for any given AAA release now are ridiculous to the point where I have to believe that like half of the posts are shit posts or like people doing irony posting because it is so ridiculous. like I can't imagine how people could care that much about something like much of it is rage bait. That's what I thought. Like, that's what I would think, but maybe not. I don't know.
I always think, like, I'm either dealing with someone who has absolutely nothing going on in their life, or I'm dealing with a literal child, and it's not worth my time either way.
Right. Like, I can't imagine putting that much of my daily energy into being mad at the names of, like, the body sliders. Or not the body, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Like oh dear. Oh dear.
Oh no.
It is so funny. The gank is so funny to me because it is so overtly a middle finger. It's just like, yeah, what if we put like 50 dudes in here? What are you gonna do about that, huh?
Just blocking the fucking fog door.
Yeah. Do people do rage bait on, like, engagement bait on Steam just for points? Because I've never had, like, I have like hundreds of thousands of Steam points. I don't know what to do with all of them. I get the engagement bait on, like, Twitter, because that's actual money. I just didn't figure people would do it on Steam, because, like, you get Steam points for everything anyway.
God, one of the grifter accounts posted, like,
dang it,
I spend 15 to 18 hours a day on Twitter to get my engagement, and I was just like, you could not, you could, there's no amount of money you could pay me to just engage with that brain rot for that many hours.
Yeah. I know this got overused, but that is legitimately, like, Cruelty Squad NPC dialogue. Yeah. Being like, yeah, man, I put in 15 hours a day, you know, busting my ass on Twitter for engagement. Oh my gosh. Like, you remember how and even now, I guess, still, like, old people are like, oh, who watches people play video games? What's that so like, to me, the actual lame thing is when your job is posting rage bait on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like, that's so stupid. That is a stupid job. I don't care how much money it makes. Like, that's dumb. Like, you're just feeding off of, it's like your entire job is just to feed off of the parasitic destruction of our social, you know, our social structure. Yeah, sorry, I can't talk right now. I need to clock in and make sure to post my transphobic rage bait for the day. Jeez.
I have to clock in.
Yeah.
Have fun at work, honey. I'm gonna be here 15 hours a day.
Yeah. Whoops. It's not Y. It's A. It's not Y. It's A. Okay.
Oh, okay.
There we go. And to be clear, I don't mean, like, people who make a living off of social media posting legitimate, like, actual, you know, content. I mean, like, people making their living off of posting things to make people mad. Like, that's just so dumb. When I did shit posting, I did it for the art.
I was just in it for the love of the game.
Yeah. Alright, this is going okay so far. Now he's gonna do this. Oh, I think actually... Oh, I'm stamina starved. Oops. There we go. We've fallen so far from elaborate forum shitposting. Yeah, I think that's what, and even like for me, I enjoyed Twitter, you know, a few years back, where it's like, I don't know, it felt more fun. It was like in good fun, where, oh, that's an insta kill. Jeez. Okay, well, I got close there. Like now it's just actually making people's lives worse. And I guess it maybe was back then also. Like I probably, you know, it probably wasn't like a positive contribution to society, but I don't know. I enjoyed it when it was sort of like a comedic bit and people and everyone was sort of laughing and in on it. And then once it turned into, no, we're just legitimately like trashing people's mental health for like clicks and likes and stuff. It's like, that's just kind of, that's, I don't know. It's not the same to me.
Like, if you're shit posting about, like, New Vegas's writing or the Doom 3 shotgun, like, it's harmless. It's really not hurting anyone.
Yeah.
But, like, the shit that goes on now is just sort of like, I don't know, it's cursed.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe it was, you know, maybe it still was kind of, like, making people's lives worse, and I just really didn't think about it in those terms, but I guess I always saw it as, like, it's sort of like performance art. It's like a comedy routine, you know, like the New Vegas thing. Like half of what was funny is the fact that it kept then getting like re-inflicted on me. Like I like kicked the hornet's nest and then it kept being re-kicked. I don't know if this makes any sense, but There's a thing I'm part of that I can't say anything about to anybody. It is like super secret stages right now. But it's sort of like related to I mean, and it's not like it's a huge big thing, but it's just, you know, not announced in any way. And it's like related to social media. And it's something that could be really cool for a lot of people, I think. Like, so anyway, so I have a lot of like thoughts now about how social media functions and stuff. A lot of like opinions. A Doom 3 shotgun summoning cult will not escape our notice. Oh, I tried rolling. I just did it a bit too late. I always forget it's when you release the button, not when you press it.
Yeah.
Correct. The Doom 3 shotgun does not hurt anyone. That's very good.
Very good.
I think also I changed a lot in some ways after like 2023, which is just such a really difficult year, and it kind of refocused me more on, I guess, different stuff. Yeah, I don't really know how to explain it, but I guess it may be a little more conscious of like I guess sort of the role that entertainment and creative works and stuff can actually play in someone's in seriously play in like things that are important. Like I've had people say to me, and that was a terrible attempt, by the way. Like I've had people talk to me about, say like, okay, this game you made was like really important to me and stuff, which I've always been really grateful for, but I didn't quite understand. I didn't understand quite as much until the last few years, when it's like, oh, you entertainment, like things that are just like entertainment or just someone's, you know, art they made can actually be really, really hugely important to somebody for like getting through stuff. So I guess that kind of refocused me a little more, and made the whole social media routine and stuff just not feel quite as nice.
Yeah.
It's nice to have a platform to just sometimes, you know, post like screenshots or ask questions and things on, which is what I've been using Blue Sky for, primarily because I never like figured out how to scroll through Blue Sky, how to like get a feed to scroll through, and I'm just gonna kind of keep it that way. Like, so I can go on there and just like post stuff and talk to people without it turning into like doom scrolling or getting involved. Oh my gosh, that was a terrible attempt too. Yeah, so my experience on Blue Sky has been a lot nicer, but I think a huge part of that is also because I don't try to engage with anyone who isn't directly like talking to me. You know, like I only like look at my replies and maybe scroll through the feed of the like 12 people I'm following or whatever. But I don't go to anything that's like the For You, you know, global feed of stuff. Which isn't necessary. Yeah, I don't know that that's necessarily because of anything that Blue Sky has done right. It's just more like I didn't figure out how to do it because their feed system is a little more confusing, and I've just kept it that way. Oh. So I guess going around them rather than trying to dodge roll through them is probably a little wiser, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe. Oh. Okay,
that was very close.
That dude was definitely almost gonna grab you through the friggin' portal.
Yeah. Woo.
Wow, that hitbox.
Woo. Ah. Not quite fast enough. Let's try and get this off. Nope. Not enough time. The way you get Blue Sky feeds to show up is by pinning them. Yeah, I'm probably just not going to do that. I don't actually. Every once in a while, I miss the fun parts of spending a lot of time on a social media site because it could be really fun. But for the most part, I don't really miss it. I miss.
It certainly hasn't gotten better on the old Twitter there.
Yeah, I do, because I do go back on Twitter every once in a while to check my like notifications and messages and stuff, and it's always like looking into the void.
Just down into the abyss.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure there. So Madman, I'm sure there is like a good way to get your feed curated and stuff. For me, I think it's just better if I. Oh, that was close.
Nice.
If I'm not in the habit of scrolling anything, so there, you know, I don't fall back down into the doom scroll hole. Because not just because of the doom scrolling, but also because like I think having that be a habit you get into kind of takes up a lot of time that I don't have. So yeah, so it's just something that I'm just trying not to do at all. Oh, I like dodged back into his attack. So there's... Okay, yeah, the normal attack actually does more, I think. Oh. So if I hide behind this, I think I'll be okay, right?
No!
Okay. Well, okay, that's fair. Yeah. Yeah, the one downside is I am a little more out of the loop on stuff than I used to be. Sort of like a double-edged sword, because on the one hand, you know, scrolling all the time is a really good way to stay up to date on whatever the current news, or, you know, be it video game or world or whatever. It's a good way to keep up on that. But then on the other hand, it's also a good way to, like, have your life turn into just a constant whirling, like, cycle of whatever the new panic or outrage is, even if it's not necessarily anything you need to like know about. Yeah, so it's kind of a double-edged sword, I guess. Okay, panic rolling actually worked really well there.
I don't know if I'm gonna try Blue Sky. I just kind of don't want more social media in my life at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm mostly just happy tweeting nonsense, like, you know.
Sorry, go ahead, Dylan.
Yeah, just I don't use Twitter that much anymore either. I've just been enjoying, like, you know, not doing any of those things.
Yeah. Strida. Yeah, that's if you find some stupid discourse or villain of the week, you just put it on the block list. Yeah, I don't trust myself to be able to do that. I get sucked in really easily. Because I do tend to care a lot about stuff. Like, I can't do, like, Dave is really good at being able to just keep the stuff at arm's length. For me, like, I don't know, I care a lot about things, so it's hard for me not to get sucked down the hole.
I think everyone would do a lot better if they had that understanding of themselves.
Yeah, and I mean, I do think it is important to know what's going on and to care about things that, you know, maybe aren't just or aren't, you know, the way it should be. But I think it's also really hard for any individual. Ooh, I'm getting stamina starved. I gotta keep a watch on that. I think it's hard for any given individual to carry the whole weight of their world, the whole weight of the world on their shoulders every day. You know, and to just be that aware of just how much like darkness and evil there is at any given moment. That was not what I wanted to do. Okay, that wasn't too bad. I don't even know if I have any souls to get here. Late phase 2. Yeah, as long as I dodge better than that. Okay, I think I have chance for one here. I think I should be okay. Oh, that clipped me, dang it!
Dark Souls 2 fucking
yeah,
dodge roll.
That was a Dark Souls 2 hitbox moment. That was the combo attack. Oh, no. I did press dodge. I think I just didn't release it at the right moment again. Jeez. Gonna need an ADP check after that hit. My ADP isn't that bad, I don't think.
No, we have good ADP. That hitboxes lasts a long freaking time.
Agility's 100. Which I think, where's ADP? There's ADP 26. Yeah, I don't remember what the cap for that is. I probably could get more, but in general, it hasn't been too much of an issue.
It's just some of the hitboxes are crazy.
Yeah. Whenever someone comes to me with a life problem, I tell them to level ADP. I mean, it can't hurt, right? Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the right balance is, Strider. I also try to stay informed of stuff, but it's really been difficult to figure out what's like staying informed in a good way and what is like getting dragged down into the spiral in like a way that doesn't help anyone.
I also just don't think considering the considering the state of the world now, I don't really think online activism is really that useful in any capacity.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Is and I don't quite know what the balance is. Like I said, but like there's sometimes where it's like this is just going to make my life harder and worse, and there's nothing I can do to change it. And at that point, I guess, not a late phase 2. At that point, I guess it's like, what is, what's the best thing to do, I guess, in that situation? It's like, do you want to stay informed, but then, oh, dang it, it was the combo. Does Scholar have the goblin beneath the stairs? I don't know.
I guess what I mean, Stride, is that for years, like, people have been doing activism through, like, Twitter and all that, especially, like, progressive activism, I guess. And there's just, like, no real-world change for, like, things are worse than they've ever been.
Right.
So, I don't know. It's just, I don't have much hope for it being, like, actuating change in any capacity anymore.
Right. Stay informed, but remind yourself of when you aren't in a position to do anything.
Oh god, these guys, they were ready. They were ready for you around that corner.
I just caught on fire. Okay. Only stay informed on the important stuff in the world, like the Oblivion body types. Yeah, the real important topics, like what they call the body types. Yeah, sorry to bring down the stream with real life stuff. Usually I try to keep these as like an escape from the stuff that's everywhere else. They banned the guy who posted that mod because he said he did it to make everyone mad. Was that the what, like recently, like the Oblivion remaster one, or is that the one? What was it, Starfield? Or
yeah, the Oblivion remaster one.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's it's a thing.
Yeah.
But really, like I said, who cares?
Yeah.
It's a single player game. It's like not gonna change my experience.
Yeah, I don't remember which body type was what. I'm gonna be honest. I just like it's like, oh, I like picked the one that so I could make a lady orc. And I forget which one that was.
The funniest one, though, absolutely incredible, was I saw someone's complaining that like, oh, you can't make hot women characters in Oblivion anymore.
You couldn't ever.
I was like, what version of like OG Oblivion are you playing where you could do that to begin with?
Probably the one with the mannequin bodies. Oh, I pressed it at the wrong moment. Wow, I'm having a surprising amount of trouble with this boss. I actually wonder if maybe I'll try something that isn't the bonk, just to see how it goes. Gunnar modder spotted, yeah. That will make the trip through the rocks a little more arduous. Not too much, I guess. Yeah, I'll try the pokey stick. See how that goes. So yeah, I made a lady orc who is a like a caster, but then also has like agility, like he uses a bow a lot, and I named the class Pointy Witch because this is arrows. Yeah,
that's cool. I have my second character is an illusionary bow character.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of just want to mess with. I want to mess with like the potion making and the spells, and have the maximum number of options to do stupid Oblivion stuff. You know. Yeah.
My main character right now is heavy armor, like dual swords conjurer.
Nice.
Yeah, it's two-handed swords.
Oh, nice.
Kind of like a battle mage.
Yeah, I think that would probably be fun. I always do swords when I can. So that's why this time I decided to do bow. Well, first of all, because you can use bows to like do like poison people, and I thought that might be really fun later on when I'm more powerful.
Yeah, poisoning your bows like with paralysis is amazing.
Yeah. Or I've never gotten to the point in the game where I was able to like do this effectively, but I want to try getting to the point where I can like shoot them with a drain fatigue potion and have them not be able to attack, like stuff like that.
So you probably would have beaten him if you had two-handed
it. Yeah, I just realized that as I died.
Something hilarious that I actually didn't know, but if you drain a skeleton's fatigue, it dismantles them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like they just fall apart?
Yep.
That's amazing.
It instantly kills them.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's like an insta-kill. That'll be really fun to mess with. If I get to that point, you gotta do... I assume you have to do a lot of actual leveling up to get to that point. Of, like, being able to craft potions that would, do that in one hit.
I'm a colossal hypocrite when it comes to this, because normally my stance is I don't like minigames in games. But I'm kind of fond of the minigames in Oblivion. Like, I was showing Allie how the persuasion system works, and when she finally, like, understood and got it, I was like, yeah, it's actually kind of fun sometimes.
Well, that's the thing. The reason is because the minigames in Oblivion are actually really good. Like, they're legitimately fun games. And, well, the lockpicking one, it isn't... Like, it's barely even a minigame. Like, that's pretty close to how you actually pick a lock.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously gamified quite a bit, but that's basically the process, is you have to get the tumblers up. Yeah, and the persuasion minigame is really fun. It's just like a cool puzzle game. I am two-handing it, right? Yeah.
Yep.
And how do I know how to pick a lock? Because I was obsessed with it for a while when I was younger. Although I've... Back in those days, I don't think it was as easy to get your hands on actual, like... I wonder if I can do this. Or no, they're just gonna... No, they don't track me. Okay. Ow. It wasn't really like easy to get your hands on actual lock-picking tools, so I've never actually been able to pick locks in practice, but I know the theory behind it.
There was a point in time during the pandemic that I was watching the lockpicking lawyer as like comfort food.
Yeah. Yeah, I think now, I mean, you can just buy like, oh no, oh jeez, you can just buy like a lockpicking set off Amazon, can't you?
Probably.
Maybe I should get one of those and see if I can actually like learn to pick locks, because I don't have any desire to break and enter or anything, but I just think being able to do it is cool.
Yeah, it's just like a fun thing you can do. Yay! Definitely swapping weapons is the right move.
It was, yeah, that was like quite easy after I got the pokey stick out. Based pokey stick. Friend ahead. Oh, is that is that the guy I've been looking for?
Yep.
Okay.
Say hello to King Vendrick. He solved the hollow curse.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Oh, he's not even interested in attacking me. Is he?
Hail to the king, baby.
Yeah.
Hurrah for Hollow.
What are the rest of these? Saint Ed. Bravery. Weakness, tail. I forget, did she ask me to... Oh, I got the king's ring, whatever that is. Did she ask me... I mean, there's not really a reason to kill him. He's not attacking me, right?
Nope.
This ring is the symbol of the king. Use it to gain passage through the king's gate.
Okay.
And venture to the far east. Bearer of the curse. If you are to be the next monarch, and one day you will rule these grounds, without really knowing why.
Okay.
Miss, we've been walking these grounds without knowing why for a very long time.
Yeah, I'm quite used to walking grounds and not knowing why, honestly. That's my comfort place. Ah, right. They still exist.
Do you have like a homeward bone?
Yes. I'm going to fail at the backstab.
I've been fucked over in this game so many times because I'll beat a boss and just forget that there's enemies like into the boss arena.
Yeah.
The funniest one was I beat Ornstein in Hyde's Tower of Flame and was like looking like, oh, does the Leo ring still work like the same in this game? And an enemy came up behind me and did the backstab.
Oh no! That's amazing.
I was like, definitely deserved.
Yeah. All right, so I guess I have to travel back here to level up, even though she was just there. Like she could have she could have just let me level up there. Yep, here she is. How did you get there so fast? All right. Dex and strength are both at 34. Let's take... Oh, I could do both. Let's do both of them. Yeah, and I think if I break some souls open, I should be able to do one more level up. This room has some sick statues, but they are super hard to see. Man, that is a Dark Souls 2 that is a Dark Souls 2 moment if there ever was one. Right. first, actually, I am going to use one of these. Might as well, since, you know. See if this gets me enough. Oh, yeah, it did. That was actually probably too much. So I guess either endurance or vitality. Maybe vitality. Although I'm still kind of feeling that more stamina wouldn't go amiss.
Yeah. The stamina is so aggressive. Like, the stamina management in this one in particular is pretty aggressive.
Yeah. Now I have all these extra souls. Oops. Maybe I'll...
I knew you'd be around.
Is there anything I could reinforce that would be useful? I think the bonk stick is now reinforced as far as it'll go. Maybe my bow? Yeah, I don't know. I don't really feel like I need anything else leveled up. I just have all these souls. It'd be a... Congrats on 500. Oh yeah, we're at 505.
Congrats.
Yeah. She have that might be useful. That life gem, maybe some radiant life gems. Actually, I might actually buy her stock of these. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Because what do I have? Yeah, I have radiant on my hotbar. Because there have been some situations where that's been useful to have those during boss fights. Okay, King's Gate. Does anyone remember where that is?
So
is that at
there's multiples of them, I think.
Okay.
Yes. One of them is basically it's any door that you've encountered. This is going to be so hard because we haven't played this in months.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be any door that you've gone to that says produce the symbol of the king, and
Okay.
not let you in.
I have no memory of that. Of what doors would have that.
There's one in the Forest of the Forgotten Giants.
Fallen Giants?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the Cardinal Tower.
Okay, start there. There's one in the main area after Things Betwixt. Oh, I actually think maybe I'll start at that. Is that so that was this. Would I have to go? Oh, would I go back from Majula? I think that's the best way to get there, right? If I remember right. I'll check.
I think they're referring to the one I'm leading you to.
Oh, is it? Isn't there one in the area blocked by the petrified woman?
That one is in the Duke's archives.
Oh, okay. Oh, back we go. What's up with the Duskblood situation? What do you mean? The name? Nothing's
Okay,
really up.
So, go and take the ladder down in this room. If you remember, there's a...
Oh, the ladder,
here,
right.
Yeah.
I remember this area.
Yeah.
Was it back down this way? Or no, it was across?
No,
okay.
Yeah, across here. Then through here. Then here. And then take a left here.
Ah, Ah, here we go. I remember this door now. What's the mess? Don't you dare. Where do I stand to produce? Oh, maybe is it something I have to wear? Maybe evil eye. All right, which one's the king's ring? Open the king's gate. Here we go. There we go.
Huzzah!
Butcher's Creek was glorious. Thank you. Thank you for playing it.
I don't know if you saw this earlier, but when we were talking about all the goblin spawning bug in Oblivion, someone was like, finally, like top goblins too.
yeah. Oh, I think I know where this is. Is that a lizard I hear? Or is it just this?
So the game gets really weird here.
Okay. Like, weirder than before?
Yeah.
Okay. I am up for it.
Alas, nothing happens.
I have the
Trying to remember
king's
how you
ring
proc
on.
this.
Read the message. Hurrah for money bags. Hurrah for quite
Hurrah
something.
for quite something.
The giant. There was that other giant tree. Does that have anything to do with it? What if I hit him? Stretch Butcher's Creek may have been inspired by Condemned. Yeah, just a little bit.
Oh, you have to do the other path first? Okay, so he has to go through the archive. I vaguely remember this. Okay, you need... Okay, fair enough. Alright, we
Okay.
gotta go to the Shaded Woods, actually.
Okay. I don't like the words "the Duke's Archive." I don't like the prospect of doing a Duke's Archive because that is my least favorite place in Dark Souls 1. Which
This
one was
one's not nearly as bad.
Which one was Illusionary Wood? Is that's the fog, right?
Yeah.
Place
There,
unknown.
that one. And then pick that second one.
This one?
Yeah.
It is perhaps the most Dark Souls 2 area. Oh boy.
Oh god, I played Condemned 2 last month for the first time. What happened
Oh
there?
man.
It's a bit of a disaster, but I don't think it's that bad.
Condemned
It's
2
definitely-
is interesting.
It's definitely not as good as Condemned 1 for sure.
No. It is Condemned 2 is very interesting and it is not a
Take
bad
that,
yeah.
Take that forward path, the one that you're right next to.
This one.
Yeah.
And it's honestly not a bad game on its own. It's just a really bad Condemned 1 sequel. But still, I mean, ooh. Hello. Okay. But I mean, it is very interesting and very weird, and that's always worth something. I definitely don't hate it. I do wish it was more like Condemned 1. I rolled.
Are you the one that doesn't like the bear level?
Oh, it's not that I don't like it. I think it's because of Condemned 2 being what it is, it's less interesting in context of the game, I think, than it is just seeing it play out on YouTube. It kind of just comes out of nowhere and it's like, oh, suddenly there's there's this happening.
Fair, yeah.
But
Yeah, that's fair.
that's not to say that it's bad in any way. That's one of the most memorable segments in the game for sure. It's really good.
Now, for a level that's really good in Condemned 2, the museum level.
The museum level is great.
Like, the idea of being able to just break into the glass containers and take out medieval weapons is just amazing.
Yeah. It's also, the beginning of that level is probably the only time in the game where it starts to feel kind of like Condemned 1 with the whole, like, the creepy urban exploration sort of feeling. That's a standout level. The Lodge in general, even though the gameplay is very not Condemned, I'd say is pretty good. Red Tear Stone.
I like the atmosphere of the bowling alley. I think the atmosphere.
Yeah. Oh, that's
there
right.
feels
Bowling
very
alley.
Condemned.
Yeah, that was also a part where it actually feels like a Condemned game. The ship had some interest. I don't know. Condemned 2 is just it's a mess, but it's a mess because it was trying stuff. Like, as opposed to being a mess for dumb reasons. It was like, it's a mess because it tried all sorts of different things, and some of them worked and some of them really did not work.
I'm so curious what Monolith's like when that period of time, what their like philosophy around sequels was, because Fear and Condemned, the sequels are so weird compared to their first games.
Yeah. What does this one do again? It increases the attack power when I'm in danger. I'll put that on. Why not? Yeah, I would also like to know that the because yeah, Fear 2 is also a mess. That one I think that's actually the weaker of the weak sequels. Fear 2 hurts more than Condemned 2 does, I guess.
Yeah. And this is someone just said Fear 2 was a great game. I've encountered quite a few people who love Fear 2.
I don't understand that.
I don't understand it, but more power to you.
Yeah.
I don't think there's many of us in New Blood who like Fear 2.
No.
Everyone's pretty staunchly Fear 1.
I'm actually I'm probably more on the positive side of New Blood in terms of Fear 2, in that I don't
Same.
I think it's bad, but I don't think it's the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
But no, I don't like Fear. Fear 1 I have played. Fear 1 is incredibly good. I think that's I mean, Condemned 1 is also incredibly good, but like, it hurts to see Fear 2 fail so hard as a Fear game. More souls. I'll put this back on. Oh no, don't I need the +1? Yeah, I need the +1.
I can see that argument, Strida.
Maybe,
I think it does depart from Condemned 1 more than Fear 2 departs from Fear 1, but for whatever reason, I just can't get engaged with Fear 2. That I've replayed it several times just trying to get that spark, and it just won't show up for me. I'm just like, I don't know, something about that game just does not click for me.
I think part of it could be that like, Condemned 2, most of the time it's not even trying to be Condemned 1. It's trying something else. In Fear 2, it's like you can see it failing at the same things that Fear 1 is so good at, whereas Condemned 2 is just like, I don't know what it's cooking, but it's cooking something. I don't know if I like the smell, but it's something. You know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of more of its own thing rather than just being a bad version of the previous game. And Fear 2 is like, it's kind of just a bad version of the previous game.
So, King Shotgun, who said Fear 2 is a great game, said that it's quite like Quake 1 versus Quake 2. It didn't have the same feeling of horror, but in itself they are awesome. Fear 2 did many things better than Fear 1, but it missed what made Fear 1 great. Rename it and it wouldn't be an issue. I can kind of see that angle.
I don't know what it did that's better than Fear 1 though.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious what do you think it did better than Fear 1? And I'm trying not to say this in like an accusatory tone at all.
No, I would just be curious to know.
Yeah, I'm legitimately curious. Just I'm interested in seeing like, okay, what are people seeing in this game that they really like? More level variety.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I could see that. It does have more. I think Black Knight Ultra Greatsword.
Answer, sexy adult Alma.
Okay, I mean that's also fair. Oh, that was one of the things that was like baffled me so much when I played it back in the day. Is like, what is supposed to be scary about this? Like, it's like they're putting Alma in front of you like it's spooky Alma, and it's like it's a attractive naked woman. Like, nothing about that is scary. Like, I am biologically programmed to not be scared of that. Like, very decidedly. Women are terrifying to... Yeah, okay, that's fair. Women are terrifying to gamers. Personal space invaded. You go outside, have a mech section. Yeah. Okay, I guess I could get that. It's just, I guess just for me, like, the presence of a mech section is kind of epitomizes why Fear 2 sucks. To me, because like nothing about being in a mech is like is John Woo gameplay or creepy atmosphere. Like, I don't think Fear 1 is a good horror game, but it has a very, like, part of what makes it is the atmosphere. Is this a trap? This looks like it could be a trap. White woman jump scare. Ah! I thought it was... I thought only the wood ones were mimics.
Nope.
Why did I think that? Yeah, Fear 1's more of a horror-themed game than a game. I mean, I don't think that Fear 1 did a great job with the horror segments, but I think it's, like, the spooky atmosphere was pretty good.
I don't know, man. Even... Okay. For me, atmosphere, yeah. Fear 1, way better. But if you even strip away the atmosphere from both of them, I still don't even like the shooting in Fear 2 compared to Fear 1.
Right. That's the big killer for me, is that Fear 1, for a long time, arguably had, like, some of the most... like, arguably it was the most, like, over-the-top, visceral FPS combat that you could get. And then Fear 2 feels decidedly worse even than, like, a Call of Duty game.
Just, yeah, it feel, all the guns in Fear 1 feel so punchy and, like, yeah, as you said, visceral. There's so many particle effects and they sound so, like, good.
Whoa, did you see that?
Alright, someone's gotta clip that.
Yeah. That was interesting. In a vacuum, Fear 2 is like, okay, yeah, I think it's just kind of a decent Call of Duty type game. And that's just not, yeah, it's not, that's not really what Fear was. Yeah, I don't hate Fear. Ooh, jeez. I don't hate Fear 2 either. I just don't find it that interesting, and it just is kind of. I just wish it were more. I just wish it had better spark effects. Okay, the sparks just don't look good. Like, at the end of the day, that's what really sums it up, is that you shoot a wall in Fear 2 and you have like this little bloop, like, spark thing happen like every other FPS, and you shoot a wall in Fear 1 and it's like fireworks going off and they're bouncing everywhere and there's like chunks of spark spraying out other sparks, and it's great. It's the spark effects, damn it.
I don't know how that even happens, because like it was better in the first game. How did it get worse in the second game?
I don't know either, but I do know that production for Fear 2 was a mess in some way. I don't know what way, but I know that the Monolith guys talked about it being like a mess.
That tracks.
All right. Let's try this again. Oh, that's
Mapes.
Oh yeah.
I love Mapes.
I don't even remember I don't know who Snake Fist is. Mapes is the best.
He's the guy who's like runs the computer and stuff like that later in the underground section, I think.
Okay. I have no memory of that character. Norton Mapes is the best. He's basically what's that character's name from Jurassic Park?
Oh, Nedry.
Nedry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fear 2 doesn't have stencil shadows. Yeah, but to be fair, that can be charted up to technology changes. Because I love stencil shadows, don't get me wrong, but that was never going to be a very scalable tech outside of, you know, corridors. It does? It does have the stencil shadows? Really?
It's funny, maybe they like the technology improved and they softened them so they don't really feel like stencil shadows anymore.
Maybe, yeah. Oh. Invaded. They're still in use throughout Fear 3. Oh, okay. Or Fear 2. Okay, I didn't know that.
Man,
Wow, that went really well.
Yeah, can't fault the great sword moveset, man.
No, you can't. It's great. Appropriately enough, the great sword moveset is great. Oh boy, what in the Bloodborne is this? All right, messages. What have you got for me? Visions of man
and woman.
Handing ahead. Vision. Okay.
God. Yep. About what I expected.
Yeah. Yeah, stencil shadows do not scale well. That's the reason they're not, as I understand it at least, that's the reason that they're not used anymore, is because they're just really expensive compared with, you know, shadow, what's it called? Like the shadow maps, cascades, whatever it's called. Ooh. Okay, that's cool. Wait, is that Seath? No, that wouldn't make any sense. Because this is going to become Duke's Archives, isn't it?
Oh, I've always just seen it as like it's just like a big old dragon.
Okay. I mean, it's super cool. Oh, it's almost time to be done, actually. We're next bonfire, we're gonna call it quits.
Yeah, and that's also part why Fear 1's environments are so like boxy and small, is because they tried to do larger environments and the stencil shadows just destroyed the performance anytime the level was too big. That's why it's all offices.
Yeah.
And underground sections.
I'm doing shadows in the isometric game with, it's not stencil shadows, but it kind of looks like them because all it is a second pass that draws the model but just smushed down and projected onto the floor. Because it's, you know, it's isometric, so there's only one like height to worry about, and
Yeah.
I don't care if they don't don't project onto things on the floor correctly and stuff. It's just kind of it gives them that like Diablo like pitch black sprite shadows sort of look.
Nice.
Yeah, and they look really cool because they look like stencil shadows. So they have that really sharp item required. I mean, I am not in favor of a basilisk of this size. Oh man, I just need a bonfire. I mean, he's not really doing anything, so I guess I'll leave him alone. Oh great, there's a chest. Shadow maps without filtering would get it. No, those. So the thing with shadow volumes is they look they're like completely polygon accurate. So they're in even today, like excuse me, the fidelity of shadow, like stencil shadows, in terms of matching the geometry it's cast from, is like way more detailed. To an actually to an unrealistic extent. Like the shadows are way sharper than they would be in real life, but you can have anything, like you can have like a tiny pencil or something like that, and it's going to be completely like 1-to-1 accurate with the polygonal model. Yeah, like Doom 3. Those are flawed in the sense of they don't scale well, or in a different sense. Okay, I need to find bonfire. I guess I'll just go in here. I know there's this lever. There's a dragon thing. Pull. Oh, I'm gonna have to interact with something. Stencil shadow game is Secret Service security breach. I think I've seen that one. Like if you have too much overlapping geometry, they invert. Yeah, there's. Yeah. I guess I'll pull this.
To be fair, like every single shadow solution has some situation where it gets totally fucked.
Yeah.
Like Shadow Maps has plenty of those too.
Oh jeez. I just want a bonfire. There's a Pharos lockstone. I might use that. Can I open this door back up? Yes. Okay. What happened here? Oh, and this is around the hippo dude. So maybe there's a bonfire over here? Does not appear so. Leg?
Legs? Question mark.
What is the point of that dude, then? Oh, can you just... No, you can't go around there. What is the point of this guy? That's the stairs up there. Okay. Let's see what the messages have. No, I want to read the message. treasure. Item required ahead. Okay. Try item and then bloody expensive. Okay. Well, I guess this is where we're going. I will use this and just see what happens. Oh. Okay.
It's a very lovely room.
Yeah.
He just tried to spit at you.
Yeah. Guess I'm just gonna keep running through here. Oh, for Pete's sake. What have you got? Life gem. I thought it was a... Oh, it's locked. Okay. Is this also locked? Sure is. Don't you dare. Oh, is this... That is a person. Okay. That... No. No! Why would I lock onto that?
This is what you wanted, right?
Yeah. There we go. Can't take this weapon. Well, crap. Ah! I don't think he can go through. Oh no, it's locked. Okay. Maybe if I go through here. No, he can definitely go through here. Okay. Is he stuck? It's unclear. I know there's an item that... Are you serious with this? Are you serious with this? Maybe I can get him stuck on the corner there for a moment.
Dark Souls 2 has no ganks.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah, this little spot is so cool.
Where's the sun? Yeah, this is neat. I'll bet this is a boss. Like, I am in no condition to fight a boss right now. Well, I guess I'll ask, is there a bonfire I can get to in here? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'll try and get to it then. Oh, there's a thing. Oh no! It's acid!
Yep.
Oh, everything is breaking! Oh Oh no! Can I get out? Okay. That is a mean place. Where am I? Everything is broken. Oh no! Welcome to piss hell. Well, that didn't help at all. Okay. This is where they manufacture Slurm. Yeah.
Yeah, they put Slur McKenzie in that room. That's why the slime's all there.
Oh man, I love one of my favorite gags in that episode is where it's like he has to party all day and all night by like order of his contract. He's like, yeah. All right. Is this where? Yeah, that's where I came in. That has the Pharos Lockstone. Oh, for Pete's sake. Seriously?
God, this area is such a fucking dick.
This is so cursed. Here it comes. Wait, they're not red. They're not a red. Why aren't they red?
They're wearing a ring.
What is that?
A lance.
Medieval drill. Oh, for Pete's sake. All right, well. We're over time, so just gonna say it's between the Slurm Chamber and the library. What library? Stream Sniper? That would be very funny if it was. All right, well, we're gonna cut it there, I guess. I don't even know where I'm going. Oh, back to here. All right, I mean, that's fine, I guess. Oh, and I have to go back and fix all of my equipment, too.
Yep. Cursed.
Yeah. All right, well, that's another day of Dark Souls 2 as we inch ever closer to finishing Dark Souls 2 sometime in 2037. So, the one with the books. Okay.
The one with the books.
So, thank you everyone for coming. Thank you, Dylan, as always, for joining me, and I will see everyone next stream. Bye!
Hooray!